Good morning, Facebook and YouTubers. Good morning. Good morning. This is your hostess, Kimberly, and
Bishop Bozeman. Let the music play for a minute. That sounds pretty good, don't it?
All right, well, while the
Yeah.
music's playing, y'all come on in today.
Come on in. That's good music right there. I like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's Columbus's own.
Or
not. It could be. It could be.
It does sound good. Make you want to do a little.
Yeah, whatever that is, but for sure.
What you got?
I've taught you that. That's all I got.
Let me see you move your shoulders. No, not your whole torso, just a little. Y'all moving with me this morning?
I got one that's working.
Yeah. Come on in. Make sure when you come in that you are automatically sharing. We have to share the good news. We have to share the information. And as you come in, you're hitting sharing. Make sure you're hitting like. And we all want you to come on in and comment as well. Well, you are listening to a Gold Chip Communication Station. You can listen live by going to www.1580thepraise.com and click on listen now. But if you want to be a part of this wonderful discussion, come on in and share here at Talk Therapy Live Facebook
we
page.
Are here already.
Yes.
And what a beautiful day it is.
Oh my goodness. I can't wait to get out in it. Good morning, beautiful. Sister Brittany Bloom Bozeman.
Good morning to you.
Hit that share button, girl.
Share.
Yes. Well, I am Kimberly B.
Start all over.
I am Kimberly B. I started to say Bozeman, but I'm Kimberly B., the owner of Healthy Emotes Counseling Services. You can reach me by calling 614-669-5115. This is the Honorable Bishop Marvin C. Bozeman, the pastor of
the Great Assembly of Faith Church, 1571 South Parsons Avenue, right here in the city of Columbus. And you can come out and worship with us every Sunday. At 11 o'clock.
That's right. Good morning, Mary Stevenson. Y'all come on in. Hey, sis, go ahead and hit that share button. Hit it. All right. Give us some thumbs ups too, okay? We have a very important discussion for you all today. This is something that we all can relate to. So the topic is nervous breakdown prevention.
Wow.
I'm going to say that again. Nervous breakdown prevention. So we understand that nervous breakdown is not necessarily a clinical term, right? It used to be like back in the 60s, it was a catch-all phrase, like when people were having anxiety or suffering from PTSD, like after the world wars, the soldiers, and depression. So this is a catch-all phrase, right? But we know that a lot of us feel like we can be overwhelmed to the point where we feel like we are having a nervous breakdown. So a nervous breakdown can be compared to like when you're on your computer and sometimes it gets too hot, or it's overworked. Sometimes it just shuts down. That's how we are. When we take on too many stressors in life, we get overwhelmed and we feel like we're just shut down. So a nervous breakdown immobilizes you. It debilitates you. You can no longer function. You can't think straight and you don't want to do anything. So, it can be acute or it can be chronic because everybody's stress levels are different. Good morning, Dr. Correa Scott is here today. Hey, girl, click the share button. So again, being overwhelmed by the stressors of life. And so it can be acute or can be chronic. Acute, it can be like something devastating happens, something traumatic happens, like a severe car accident or a traumatic fire or something like that. But then some of us, it comes on over a period of time because we're pretty good at handling stressors or taking it in, but we just pile it up. And before you know it, we become so overwhelmed that we experience what we call it, and it's a layman's term, nervous breakdown. More clinical terms would be extreme or severe anxiety, PTSD, or depression. Yeah. Okay. So we want to talk to you all today about how to prevent that. But, we were watching TV, and we have seen so many episodes of people really they had a nervous breakdown and just losing it. From the attorney that, was hearing voices or whatever. She said she was actually diagnosed with bipolar and schizophrenia, and she was hearing voices, and she just really, slammed her car into a group of people. And then the one lady who killed her, what was it, 3 or 4 kids?
Yeah.
And
her son, I think, participate. I don't know what that was about, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was about.
Yeah, I think the son
had
was
to do with depression or anxiety or why she did what she did.
Yeah.
But that did occur.
Right, exactly. So again, we have so many factors in our life that can lead to a nervous breakdown. Now, we know this is not God's will for our life. We know that. We know that we're going to be faced with challenges and the vicissitudes of life. They're going to come from the north, south, east, and west, and they're going to come out of nowhere. But Bishop and I are here today to help you all to cope with life. You must have coping mechanisms in place and practice them.
Yeah, it's important to have that. Not only that, and since you kind of, brought God into the situation, even some believers, some Christians, they have gone through or at times go through, this per se, a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
So, having salvation and loving Jesus does not mean, that you can experience, that type of mental breakdown.
That's right.
It's very possible. And man, you could know the word, but knowing the word is good, but it's about applying what it is that you know.
That's right.
So if you don't apply what it is that you know, then whatever is happening will continue to happen.
Yeah.
I'm reminded of Bishop Paul Morton.
Oh yeah.
He was one of the who is the founding member of the Full Gospel Baptist Church, who went through a nervous breakdown.
Yeah.
He talks about it.
Yes.
He preaches about it,
Man.
so that he can help others. Who thought that he would become so overwhelmed with, as you said, with life.
Yes.
To whereas he couldn't handle it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
but what I find in my experience and in my practice, that oftentimes we get to that point, it's like we blow a fuse before we even realize it. It's kind of like putting on weight. We gain weight. We don't know we gaining weight until one day we look at it, we're like, how did I get here? But that's because we neglect ourselves. We don't pay attention to ourselves. Our body is talking to us all of the time.
So we overlook the obvious.
Yeah.
The obvious, we kind of overlook it. We know it's there. We can feel something. We know something. But we kind of overlook it and we continue on. I don't know, maybe thinking that it'll pass or things will get better.
Yeah.
Or the uncomfortable feeling will kind of go away.
But sometimes we're too busy to even notice. Our body is talking to us all of the time. But we don't sit still long enough to hear that still small voice. So we want to definitely become more mindful and pay attention to ourselves. Like you said, and good morning to my beautiful mother, Idra Trout. Good morning. You want to tell her something?
Good morning.
Happy Mother's Day.
Good morning. And happy Mother's Day.
Getting
That's
mom.
not what this show is about.
Getting mom.
Get
him, mother.
The show to do that. That's a shame.
This is Kimberly's show. It's Talk Therapy Live. So hey, whatever happens, just rock with us today.
Happy Mother's Day to you, mother. Again, happy Mother's Day.
Okay, so we're going to get back on topic. All right, so we definitely want to pay attention to our bodies because you mentioned Bishop Paul Morton, and we know that he knows God.
Yeah.
But just like all of the other coping mechanisms, oftentimes we don't we're too busy to really apply them every day because we know that we can cast all of our cares upon the Lord, but do we do that daily?
But you can have so much going on in your life. I mean, you're pulled here and there, and you don't take time for yourself. You do not take time for yourself, but you've learned how to help others instead of helping yourself.
That's so a big one. That it is neglect. And that's huge in the local body, not just the local body, but as bishops and pastors, and we all and females do it a lot too.
If we don't have help ourselves, how can we be of help to others?
That's right. That's right. So we don't want to have a nervous breakdown. Someone I know, and we'll get into some of the reasons why we can have a nervous breakdown. But the most beautiful person ever, I'm talking about gorgeous to look at, right? Just gorgeous, had a good head on her shoulders and all that. But then she got into this toxic relationship, right? And had a nervous breakdown. And guess what? She never recovered. She never recovered. We must, and we have an obligation to keep ourselves out of harm's way. That's our responsibility. We have to be good stewards, not just over the church, not just over other people, not just over our homes. We must be a good steward to ourselves as well. Okay, so again, a nervous breakdown can be acute. It can come on all of a sudden, or it can be by you taking things on, suppressing, right?
I mean, you always have to have someone to talk to. Someone honestly. So you have to have a best friend, someone that you can call up or meet up with and express how it is that you feel, or what's going on with you. Hey, I'm somewhat bombarded. I'm overloaded with all of these things that are going on in my life. What do you suggest? You have to have an outlet.
But why do you think, Bishop, that it's so hard for people to reach out for help, for them to communicate their needs?
Maybe it's just being busy. And sometimes you may not want to let people into that part of your life. You don't want to. So you kind of, you'll handle it when you get to it. I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. Does it have anything to do with pride at all? Like you don't want to be seen in that way. That's a possibility too.
So, and we understand pride comes before a fall. If you know you need help, because guess what? You're one person. You cannot do it all. I know we try, but that's why we're here in each other's lives. We're here to help one another. You have people in your life who want to help. Brittany says some people feel like that they are a bother to people. And so my thing with that is try not to project how you feel onto other people. That's your feeling. Those are your thoughts. But most often people really want to help. It's really an honor for someone to come to me and say, you know what, I've been dealing with A, B, C, D, because now I know that they trust me with their heart. You know what I mean? And now we become a team. So more often than not, people really do want to help.
I believe we kind of, like she just expressed. See, I think sometimes we kind of overthink, what it is that we need to do, or they may not, look at me the same again if I share this information with them. And you have to know who it is that you can trust with the information that you give to. If you give them this information, it must be someone who you can confide in and trust. So it's just not a random, or sometimes it's good to talk to a random person.
You're right about it.
They don't know you.
Because they'll have an unbiased opinion.
Exactly. So that's not a bad thing.
Right. So would you rather risk the chance of being vulnerable or in a devastated state of being. You know what I mean? So that's an option. Do I rather go to someone and talk to someone, or do I want to suffer mental illness like that?
Because that, not only are you experiencing that, but everyone around you that's in your core group will experience that as well.
That's right.
They'll go through it too. They have to suffer like you're suffering.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not fair.
It's
not fair.
It is not fair. Yeah. It's not fair, because if you love who you're with, you love your spouse, your partner, your children, take care of yourself as much as possible, because like Bishop said, everybody suffers. And going through a nervous breakdown, again, it's compared to a laptop or computer that has been overwhelmed, overheated, and it just blacks out. It just black, the screen is black, it just goes off. You know what I'm saying? Because it needs to cool off. You know, and that's how we are, but we must keep ourselves out of harm's way. You know, so one way that we can have a nervous breakdown is really by taking on too many responsibilities.
Not knowing how to say no.
Yes.
You know, you're saying yes all the time to whoever, and for whatever reason, sometimes it's good to say no, because you already have enough that's going on.
And you have to know yourself, you know, because I admire you so much, because you have a plethora of responsibilities, from being chief bishop, and I'll never say this one right. What is it? I always want to say suffering bishop.
No,
maybe that's the way I look. Maybe that's the way I look at it.
Yeah. Okay. I'm suffering. Suffragan. There you go.
Bishop, to being the pastor of Assembly of Faith and taking such good care of your wife and your family. You got a lot going on, but I admire you because you don't seem overwhelmed. Are you overwhelmed? Or
I'm not. I'm not. I can only give you what I can give you. You know, I kind of live by that. I'm somewhat not bothered by I won't allow that to happen to me.
Thank you.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I can only give you or this group or this person what I can.
Yeah.
So I refuse to be stressed out and bothered, and you know.
Thank you. Thank you and that's like knowing yourself.
Most definitely.
Knowing what you can take on and what you shouldn't take on, and taking care of yourself. You know, Correa says, I feel like even if you don't want to communicate it with someone, at least let them know you're not in the right headspace, so that they don't take your actions personally.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's important.
Yes.
Very important.
It is, because people will misinterpret you. You know, because you could just need some time alone. Maybe you don't feel like talking a lot, but then they may misconstrue it as if, oh, you mad, you angry, what you tripping for? And now that's a whole another conversation.
But what she says, communicate.
Yes.
Communicate what it is that's going on with you now, so it's not taken in the wrong way. Let someone know. Hey, this is what's going on with me right now. Give me 2 weeks. You know, give me 2 weeks. Give me a minute.
If you need 2 weeks, make an appointment with Kimberly Bozeman, 614-669-5115. Because we will definitely be challenged with things in life, but prolonged stress, prolonged grief, prolonged depression, these things will kind of weigh you down. You don't want to go too long in that state of being, because when it gets like that, you're entering into the more severe stage. So before you get there, I see people a lot of times when they're there, and it takes a lot of work trying to come out. I would love to see you before you get there. So if you have something that you need to talk about, but you can't talk about it to that loved one or that one that's close to you, this is when you can reach out to a therapist, to a pastor, or someone like that.
I mean, you know what? That old saying, life happens to us all.
Yes.
You know, I believe it's important for people to share their stories, especially to the next up and coming generation, children that we are raising. They have to be taught how to handle life when it comes.
Yes.
You know, we're not in control of what happens to us in life.
Do you think that has anything to do with what's going on in society now?
What do you mean?
As far as it's seemingly everybody has like lost their mind. I mean, people are just going off and going in. Do you think it's from a lack of coping skills because they weren't taught to this generation?
It's probably many. It could be the lack of coping skills. That's a good one, and it could be being in a state of panic, especially when everything today is sky high, and you don't have it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that to me kind of you kind of go through that anxiety,
Sure.
of how, gas, you talk about $4 and some, change close to $5 in some places, food.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You name it, everything
they
is
can't even
high.
find Similac now on the shelves.
Everything is
Isn't
high.
that something?
Things are missing. Yeah.
But all of that goes back really to coping skills.
Yeah.
Because we're going to need emotional regulation. When things are outside of your control, and that's what anxiety is. Things are outside of our control. We don't know how to handle that.
Exactly.
So we need emotional regulation. We need to learn how to handle that so that we don't flip out.
Right. Yeah. Because it affects your, as you stated, your emotions. It definitely affects your behavior.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So all of that goes on when you're going through, this mental breakdown.
Yeah.
So the way you would normally respond to a situation, you're not, as Correa said, you're not in the right headspace right now.
Right, exactly.
To bring remedy to that.
Right. And that goes back to my acronym ASK. Because when life happens to us and we're not in the right headspace, it's okay because it happens to all of us. So we have to know ourselves. So ASK is radical acceptance. Accept that the gas prices are $5 a gallon. I don't have Similac. Okay, that's radical acceptance. And it's okay for you to process that in that way. Sit with it. Sit with it. You acknowledge how you feel, right? But then you put a plan together. What do I need to do? So we're not impulsive. And impulsive is having anxiety and running out here and robbing people. And you're not impulsive. But when you sit with it, you process and you put a plan together. And after you do the A and the S, then you can move on to the K, which is keep it moving then.
Right. Right. And now you have what you need to start up again and to move forward.
That's right.
You do. You have it now.
Yes. So we need emotional regulation. All right. So we definitely talked about taking on too many responsibilities, learning how to say no. Learning how, because we don't want to be like that computer that can't take anything else, get overheated, and we just shut down.
So you have to learn how to take a break.
Yes.
You have to take breaks in life. You know what I mean? So, because you have to look out for you. You have to look out for number one, learn how to step back, kind of collect your thoughts and see, how you can kind of, get back up and start pushing again.
Right.
But breaks are important.
Yeah. Because you recuperate during that break time. That's why, they teach us that in school. You get breaks at school. You get breaks on your job. But in our personal lives, we just go. Okay. So we have to pace ourselves. Know yourself. And it's okay to take a break. Like they say, Rome wasn't built in a day. And so you have to know what your priorities are. What is it that I definitely have to do today? And then what can wait? So taking on too many responsibilities will overwhelm us because each responsibility is going to come with its own level of stressors, right? Yeah. So you take on too many. Now you're, you can't function. Also something that can lead to a nervous breakdown, talking about the stressors in life, is, a death in the family.
Most definitely. Yeah.
That's a hard one.
Yeah. But also, as I stated before, we have to share, we have to talk, because that's out of our control as well.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So we have to learn how to share that with others after we learn how to kind of, manage it well ourselves. It happened once, but guess what? Death is going to happen again.
It's going to happen again. And it's okay to tell someone, I'm not doing okay. I'm still not okay, because in our society, we feel like, it's been 2-3 weeks, I should be better. And you may be a little better, because the first 3 weeks is like that kick in the gut.
Most definitely.
Knock the wind out of you. But then after that 3-4 weeks, it's still there, but the intensity dissipates some. But it's okay to tell someone, I'm not doing well.
I think that time is when you kind of you're doing your best to kind of move on in your thought life to something else, even though it's there. Kind of evasive with it. It's right there. You don't want to look at it, but so you're trying to do something else. Some people stay busy, so their mind is not on what just occurred or what just happened. But you have to face it.
You have to face it. Right in your Life Changer Journal, written by Kimberly Bozeman. You still get that on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles. But really process how you feel. Don't feel shame about the way that you feel. You don't have to be so strong all the time. It is okay. It's something that we're going to go through. But what happens is because when you think about emotions, again, it's energy in motion. Now, other people may not can see it, but your body keeps the score.
Always.
So you have this vortex of emotions that's going on, and it's wreaking havoc. It's like a tornado going on inside of you. Journal, or if you can't talk to people, journal it. Okay. So we definitely, I guess basically what we're saying is that we cannot evade life.
You cannot. Even if you temporarily medicate yourself, when you get through with that same thing is going to be right there in your face, looking at you like this. You gotta look like this. Like I'm still here.
Right.
Until you face me.
Yes.
You have to face me.
That's right.
What else do you have? Someone has something else up there.
Let's see. Correa says, I think, let me post it up here so we can see it. I think society is making it way worse. All throughout my college years, most of the students said they had a minimum of 3 nervous breakdowns a week.
Wow. That's unbelievable.
That's horrible. That is absolutely horrible. And I feel like, and I don't know, but I feel like they should have counselors on site too for these students. They have to have someone to talk to.
And they probably do. But remember, you have to speak up.
That's right.
You have to say something. But then you can go back to as well to your home life. If your home life, where you grew up at, has cultivated you into this person that makes you aware of life. Like we said earlier, maybe it just wasn't explained, expressed, or taught to the next generation.
Right.
So therefore, you're gonna spaz out. You're gonna kind of lose control. But we have to have people that's gonna teach those younger ones that are coming up. Hey, life is going to happen.
That's right.
This is how. It's not the end of the world. It's not.
And I admire Cedarville College, university, because they had me coming down every year before COVID to teach on emotional intelligence. And I think that is very, very necessary, because academic stressors is one of the highest. You're absolutely right. It's, as far as statistics are concerned, academics is one of the number one ways to experience a nervous breakdown, because that's a lot. But again, you must know yourself when you feel like you're overwhelmed. School is hard. You know what I mean? But you have to take your breaks. Maybe you can study for an hour, take a break for 15 minutes, drink you some cold water, walk around, do whatever you need to do to survive school, because school is brutal.
It's brutal, but also I believe it's designed to help you, understand what real life is all about. Even though this
It
professor,
teaches
you
you.
have an assignment,
Uh-huh.
this other one has an assignment. They have nothing to do with each other.
Yeah.
But your responsibility is to make sure you get these
You
assignments
got to
in.
get it done and
So
get it done
it's
well.
teaching you about life.
It does teach
You
you,
know, and you
yeah.
have to learn how to handle that.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of employers love college students, because it does teach you a lot about life. It teaches you some stick-to-itiveness. When things get rough, you don't quit. You know what I mean? And you demonstrate that resiliency and the ability to power through things. So it is definitely teaching us about life. Correa also says they do have counselors, but I think you have to have insurance or something. There was some type of catch to it. But see, that's why Bishop and I do platforms like this. This is free. This is free information, but people won't get on. Or either people are not sharing. And this is why Bishop and I say share. This is free information that's going to bless somebody. You know? So even after we're done, share it to people. Okay. Because we need that. Everybody don't have insurance.
Share.
Yes.
That's what all pastors say. Share your faith. If you share your faith, we can build this church up. Share your faith.
Share. Yeah. So again, we have an obligation to keep ourselves out of harm's way. Make sure if you're going through the grief process, deal with that. Be open and honest. Be open. Suppression leads to depression. Okay. And then what about toxic relationships?
Most definitely. But remember, that's in your control. That you can control.
Man.
Now the other thing about life sometimes is pretty difficult. But toxic relationship, I think the ball is in your court on that one.
But and I hear you. I definitely hear you, and I understand that, and it is within our control. You know, but sometimes they start off like a cool breeze.
Most definitely.
You know what I mean? You don't even know what you're getting into. It can start off so good. This is the perfect person, and we're good together. And something along the way happens. Now you got children. You know what I mean? You got finances. So it's easy to get into, but like the devil trying to get out of it. You know, so you talking about having a nervous breakdown because day in and day out, you're in a toxic environment.
We did watch something the other day where this toxic relationship, you know, between that one man and woman, and she did some crazy things.
Oh my goodness!
We can't even say what she did, but she did.
Well, it was on TV. It was on court.
Just like, look, you crazy.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yes.
I mean, who would think to do what she did?
Right.
With a smile.
Yeah.
Wide-eyed.
Yeah.
know?
She wouldn't look like it. And that's the thing about relationships. My cousin Amber, Charlene Brown is here.
Good morning.
Good morning. Make sure that you definitely share your thoughts and hit the share button also. Okay. So that's the thing about toxic relationships. You don't know who you have until it's too late. You know what I mean? Because people change.
Until you know who you have.
Right. Because initially everybody is going to present in the best light. They're nice, they're kind, they're sweet, you know, but then later when they feel like they have you and they feel like you can't go anywhere.
Well, we're also, you know, the lady you just talked about earlier who plowed her car into about 4 people. You know, remember she was on medication, but she was also dating a guy.
Yes.
And when she would see him, she wouldn't take her meds.
She would not take her meds. And please, may I interject, ladies and gentlemen, if your doctor sees that you need to be on medication
be on it
for your mental state, you don't get to pick and choose and I know sometimes you feel better, you know, but that's because you're taking the meds. You're not feeling better because it's gone away. You're feeling better because of the meds. Stay on your medication. If you want to get off the meds or have them reduce, please pick up the phone and call your prescribing physician. Let them know, I'm not getting enough sleep. I'm more irritable, whatever's going on with you, but please don't be your own doctor. Don't take yourself off, because that lady, she was taking her meds, but she would see her fiance on the weekends and she would not take her medications. And she was an attorney, and she took her car and ran over a couple people. So Robert Bozeman wants to know what the lady at court did.
What lady at court?
The lady in court that you was talking about. You didn't want to say what she did.
Oh, I can't say. She did. She did some crazy stuff. She did some crazy stuff, honestly. Yeah. Jonah 2:5. Right, Jonah went through some of the same thing. This is coming from the scriptures, and this is what he says. He says, "The waters surrounded me, even to my soul. The deep closed around me. Weeds were wrapped around my head. I went down to the mooring of the mountains. The earth, with its bars closed behind me forever. Yet you have brought me up. You have brought up my life from the pit, O Lord, my God." But look at what Jonah went through.
Listen.
We know his story.
Yes.
Now, that's a situation that was beyond his control. But he found himself in that. Now, you're talking about stress, high stress, anxiety.
Yes.
You don't know what it is you're going to do, how you're going to get out of it. So, I mean, life is like that. Sometimes we get ourselves in situations. Or the situation just come, we don't know how we're going to get out.
Yes.
We have no clue how.
Right.
So there's a sense of panic, especially when you have people depending on you.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. And Jonah being in the belly of the whale, or that pit, it's like we were talking about those toxic relationships that you feel like, how do I get out? Because a lot of times there's so much manipulation in relationships, or one will say to the other, you don't have to work, I'll take care of you. So we're like truly codependent upon the other one. And so it kind of empowers.
So you're in a bad spot when it comes time to leaving.
Exactly.
Or kicking them out, and how am I going to make it?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. So you talk about having a nervous breakdown from being overwhelmed and being consumed because you feel stuck. But I'm here to tell you that you don't ever have to be stuck, because there are resources. You have to plan. Like, remember I said earlier about the acronym ASK. Sometimes you have to sit with it so you can put a plan together. You don't ever have to feel stuck. You may be in it for the time being, but you got a plan to get out, and that should give you hope and some type of encouragement. But like Bishop said, you have to communicate with others.
You do.
Especially in abusive situations. And sometimes as a victim of abuse, you feel so embarrassed. You have that guilt, you have that shame, all of that embarrassment, and you don't want to tell anybody.
Right. You don't.
But again, do I want to be vulnerable, or do I want to suffer?
Like you just stated, there are so many different agencies that are willing to help people who find themselves. They have an agency for everything.
They do.
So it's just a matter of you going on the internet and finding what suits you the best as far as receiving the help that you need.
Right.
So you can, today you really can't say I didn't know how, or I was going, hey, Google it. If you have to get out of a situation, get out of it. And there are safe places for people to go to.
It is. Yeah.
Many.
So again, we have an obligation to keep ourselves out of harm's way to the best of our ability. We don't have to succumb to a nervous breakdown. We don't. And again, Bishop and I talked about how people have different coping mechanisms. Some people, I think that I have a lot of patience. I have a lot of endurance. Some people have high resiliency, and some other people don't. Depending on where you come from in life and all that stuff. But the main thing is, you must know yourself. Everybody does not recuperate from a nervous breakdown, and it's so sad. It's so some people do,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
takes time,
Yeah,
and
it
it's a
takes time.
process because it's
Yeah.
like your whole system, your whole system crashed on
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Your whole system crashed. So we know that we have the largest nerve in your body is called the vagus nerve. So the vagus nerve starts like at the baseline of your neck. It wraps all around to the front, to your chest, all the way down. It's the bit, but when it gets worn out, and this nerve is responsible for sending impulses here, there, and throughout the body.
Yeah.
So when you feel like you have a nervous breakdown, that's why you're so lethargic. You have no strength. You have no energy. You just want to sleep all the time
Yeah.
because you just experienced a system crash and you didn't know what it was. But again, we have to pay attention because our bodies are always speaking to us, always speaking. And then you have people who can have a nervous breakdown. And I get this a lot from some clients as caregiver burnout.
Yeah. That's a good one too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of times you look at the one who is
Yeah.
sick, but then the one who is providing the help.
It's neglecting themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like you said, there's plenty of resources. If you are a caregiver, I think it's in your family member. I think it's incumbent upon you to learn what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Like if someone has Alzheimer's or dementia, learn all you can about it so that we're not taking things personally when they call you out your name, when they kind of kick you and hit you a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's not, they wouldn't normally do that.
Right.
So you have to have some understanding of what you're dealing with. As you said, learn all you can about that. What's going on, so your feelings aren't hurt. You can't take it anymore. So you have to find out what it is you're dealing with, learn about it, and do your best.
Yeah, do your
to
best.
understand that they would normally do that.
That's it's not them, it's the disease.
Yeah, that's why it's good if you take care of your own people. Because if they do it to someone else outside of your home, they don't know them.
Exactly.
They don't know if you would normally do that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
That's the truth.
And like Bishop said earlier, to communicate your needs, because the burnout is real. It's an awesome task. It's an awesome responsibility. Solicit the help of other family members. And then they have a respite care too, like they can go to adult daycare or some kind of outing with other seniors.
And then it depends on how if they're bedridden.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you have some that are the only child.
Right.
So they don't have, but there are agencies out there.
There's agencies
that can come in and relieve.
Yes.
That's more stress too, because somebody coming in your home, but you have to do something.
You need the help.
You have to do something.
You need the help because both of you shouldn't be down at the same time, because now you're no good for anything. That's why I admire Bishop Fred Marshall. Because he loved himself some Molly. And he takes wonderful care, but then he has help from other people coming in too. So we can't be ashamed to say this is like overwhelming. I'm stressed out. I need the help.
Exactly. Do that. It will relieve stress. It will make things better for yourself. And also maybe they're able to do things that you can't do for that individual.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So, hey, then you really don't have to stress about that.
That's right. Yeah. And, we're talking about, a nervous breakdown. I have several clients, they have so much work-related stress. So much.
That's huge.
It is huge because you have so many expectations at work. Then you have some people who are perfectionists, which is a goal you're not going to meet. You can work in excellence, but to do it perfectly, I mean, time and time again, that's too much of an expectation for you. Exactly. So you have to set goals that are reasonable, and goals that you can meet. And sometimes, people at work feel underappreciated.
Yeah, most definitely.
or their values don't meet their values anymore. It's like I remember when I was working at this one facility, and it's nonprofit, and nonprofit is about the numbers, So I'm putting, hey, my client is improving, they're looking good, and they're like, what are you doing? We got it. We if you do that, that means that they have to go, and that's losing money.
Yeah, you messing the money up. You come up here with your pure heart, helping people. No, we don't help people. We prolong the situation. You messing the money up.
Right.
Trying to go on a cruise next year.
So I had to, I'm like, I cannot believe they're telling me this.
Yeah. But it's true in some cases. It's about that money. So instead of helping and the focus being on making this person better or comfortable, they choose to make that green.
Yeah. So if you're working a job and it doesn't meet your value system, like you got that job, there's plenty of other jobs out there. You never should feel like you are stuck. You're only stuck because you won't make a decision. We murmur, we complain, but we don't do anything about our circumstances.
Most definitely.
Like I said, like I got that job, I knew I could get it. I knew I take my skill set with me.
At some point, you'll have to put into action what is going to make your life better. At some point, because you're tired, you keep complaining about the same thing. I don't know how, we're struggling again this time. At some point, you have to step out on faith and trust God enough to make whatever happened, the business idea that you have. You can't keep putting it off. You have to do it now.
Yeah,
you have to do it now. If life, you have to start somewhere.
That's right. And I believe that life in circumstances like that is like the mother bird in the nest. Like, her children or the baby birds get so comfortable laying up there underneath her wings. She going out there finding them food, and they sit up there waiting to be fed. And then after a while, mother bird is like, it's time for y'all to get out and fly. She makes it uncomfortable.
Most definitely.
So everywhere the little birdie go, the little sticks is like poking them in their sides, and then they get out and they fly on their own. So you can't become too comfortable where you're not fulfilling your purpose.
Right. You just have to do it. What God does is faith honors God, but then God honors faith.
That's good.
God honors faith. So it's about stepping out and trusting God. God, I have this idea, business idea. You'll never know that it can happen for you if you don't step out on faith.
That's right.
You'll never know.
You'll never know.
You'll never find it out.
Right. Yeah.
If you fail at it, so what?
You learn something.
That's right. But it's in you.
That's right. Yes. So we're gonna do it again.
Most definitely.
New and improved.
Most definitely.
So again, we're talking about nervous breakdown. And which is essentially caused by individuals' inability to cope and manage stress. Okay, so it's an inability to be able to cope. Your mind can't wrap itself around what just happened. Now I have a loss of control. Now I become frantic, and now I'm worried. Now I sink lower into a depressive state of being. So now I'm consumed with the vicissitudes of life, and I'm overwhelmed. Now I have a system crash, right? So that's what a nervous breakdown is. So these are like some of the signs, of a nervous breakdown.
I was going to ask that. I was going to ask, about, say, like someone's lashing out, being evil all the time. Someone's always on their nerves, especially children or something like that. And you just say and do things in a mean, aggressive way. What is that? A mental breakdown? Like you're on your way? What is that?
Those are signs. And remember that a nervous breakdown is not a clinical term,
right? Okay.
But it is signs. It's pointing towards mental illness. And the underlying culprit can be anxiety, PTSD, or depression. So something is definitely awry. If you're doing all that, something is awry.
Now, especially if you're doing this to children, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I believe now you're teaching that child to do the same thing that you're doing.
Yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah.
that child can, or children can find themselves at such a young age facing, you
Mm-hmm.
know, that type of situation, a mental breakdown, or
Mm-hmm.
they can't handle it because dad, he's always on me, he's always, you know,
Yes,
hollering
yeah.
at me, mom, she's always, you know, and so
Mm-hmm.
it puts a child in a terrible
Yes, it
place.
really,
So
really
parents have to
does.
learn how to handle that and not put that on your children.
It's a lot. It's a lot
Yeah,
because children can only take in.
yeah,
They can only take in from
yeah,
their environment.
yeah,
So they're taking in a lot of stressors,
yeah,
a lot of toxicity, a lot of negativity from their environment. And this is what you're shaping for society. This
yeah,
is what you're going to release
yeah.
into society.
And guess what? It's yours.
Yeah, no, it becomes all of
You
ours.
know,
Because if I'm
but
at a
it's
gas
yours
station
now.
and somebody
Yeah,
walking around like that,
yeah,
it's all of our
yeah,
problem
yeah,
now. It's
yeah, yeah,
society's
yeah.
problem, what you have produced
Right.
at home.
Yeah, yeah. So you should think before you lay down and do that thing that produces children. If you're going to be that evil individual and mistreat a child,
but
because at some point it is mistreating.
And those are incentives for change.
Mm.
Because you know, a lot of us have learned behavior, like we've
Yeah.
watched and we've learned how mom and dad respond to things. So we've
Exactly. That's what I'm
learned
saying.
how to
Yeah.
yell, we've learned how to
Yeah.
hit back, we've
Mhm.
learned how to cuss, we've
Mhm.
learned all
Mhm.
of that.
Yeah.
But now it's not your fault, but it's your responsibility to change.
Exactly. If not, hey, you child is going to do the same thing.
You're going to do the same thing,
And maybe at a worse level.
So we have to be careful that we're not raising children in a toxic environment.
Mhm.
It's just like a plant. It's not going to grow.
Yeah.
It's going to develop fungus
Yeah.
and all that
Yeah.
stuff if it's not in a good nurturing environment.
Yeah.
You know, so you talked about the yelling. Some people will binge eat. Like
Yeah.
if you get stressed out, are
Yeah.
you one that will just start eating, throwing it
Yeah.
back? You're not chewing your food. You put it in your mouth. You take a couple bites and you swallow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some people binge eat.
Yeah.
You know, some people will withdraw. They'll
Mhm.
isolate. So some of these are going to mimic the symptoms of anxiety and depression. You know, like you have hypersomnia or you have insomnia, like
Mhm.
you can't sleep enough,
Right.
you know, or you're getting way too much
Yeah.
sleep,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, frequent infections because stress will wear out your
Yeah.
immune system.
Yeah.
So if you're always having colds, you're always having some type of viral infection, things of this
Mhm.
nature, you may want to just see a doctor and let
Yeah.
them know what's going on, because remember, the body keeps the score.
Yeah.
And your body is always speaking to you. And so these are not normal things for you to always be sick, for you to always have a cold. Some things awry, and we want to check out the immune system to see if that stress is really wearing out your immune system.
Yes. Exactly.
Ida Trout says, thank you so much for this needed subject. It is sorely needed during these times.
Yeah.
Bishop and I love people.
Yeah.
We just want to help. That's all. That's the only reason why we take time out of our
Mhm.
busy. We ain't getting paid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is a free platform.
Right.
But I know
And it's
that
needed.
it is
It's needed.
needed. But we love people and we know that you have within you to make it.
Right.
But you have to tap into your own well.
Yeah. What is that up underneath?
Robert
What does that
Bozeman.
say?
He
Oh,
just
that's
said
Robert.
that to me. All right, another symptom.
What do you mean that's you?
Right, explain that, Robert
Yes.
Bozeman. Another symptom is gastrointestinal issues.
Okay.
You know, like intestinal issues. You have gas, you have bloating, you're nauseated all the time. You always have something going on in the intestinal area. Again, remember that the largest nerve in the body is a vagus nerve, and it's sending signals everywhere. But if you have too much stress, then you're slowing down its activity.
Yeah.
Okay.
And where's that vagus nerve?
It is so large that it runs from like the back of your neck.
Could you show? Where?
Bishop, from the back of your neck here all the way down. Okay. It wraps around, turn around,
feeling
all the
a
way
little bit
down.
stressed right now. When we get through, could you touch my vagus nerve?
No, but I know your vagus nerve is fine, because one way to heal the vagus nerve is to hum. And he because that vibration, like hum.
Is that what it is?
Say yeah, you can feel that right here. That's one way to heal the vagus nerve, is to hum, and to also do deep breathing exercises.
So you don't want to massage my vagus nerve. That's what you're saying. Evidently, that's what you're saying. But what did Robert say? I can't see that.
Oh, Robert says binge eating, or I just love food.
It might be the second one. I don't know, Robert. So,
well, Robert, what I would suggest is for you to really pay attention to when you're binging. Yeah. Did something just happen? Are you stressed out? Or are you just like eating all the time? Whether if you're happy, sad, angry, mad, that means you just love food. Mm-hmm. But if you start doing that when you're stressed out, those are telltale signs that you may need to make an appointment with Kimberly Bozeman.
Yes.
All right. Frequent dry mouth and sweating, because frequent dry mouth has everything to do with anxiety. Okay. And I'm sweating here just because it's, hot down here.
Well, I'm sweating and I had dry mouth right now. I have them both going on.
So maybe you have a little anxiety from being on the show today.
Always. People think it's easy to get up and just
it's not easy.
There's a little anxiety involved.
Right.
Trust me. You do it all the time. Well, I have this anxiety about it all the time.
So these are telltale signs. If you have body aches and pains, or you have difficulty concentrating and focusing, you may be experiencing some nerve issues. Okay. See about yourself, please.
See about yourself.
Yes.
Healthy Emotes, 1011 East Jenkins. And the phone number is what?
614-669-5115.
5115. All you have to do is call her. Call Kimberly. You can call Kimberly, please.
And don't forget, I believe the Cash App is up there, right? Somewhere. If you appreciate this information coming out to you, Cash App, which is $KS Bozeman. All right, show us a little bit of love today. Yes. And like I always say, Maria Joyce, I'm literally experiencing nerve issues. I've been down since Wednesday. Okay. Well, hopefully, Maria, this has helped somewhat. Hopefully this has helped somewhat. But one thing that you want to do really, really quick is meditate once a day. Just once a day. You're going to calm down your nervous system. Okay. Practice self-compassion. Okay. Be nice and kind to yourself and see what your own needs are. Okay. And don't drive yourself in the ground. Okay. Pace yourself. 614-669-5115. And the last thing, but certainly not the least, is to pray. Pray. The word says, cast all your cares upon me. Why? Because I care for you. So Bishop and I love you thoroughly and immensely. We're here to help, and perhaps next week we can pick it back up again.
Perhaps, because it's a lot of good juicy mouth to go with it, right?
Yes.
Y'all come back next week. Thank you for tuning in today, and we'll see you again.
Bye.
On Talk Therapy Live.
Yes.